What is up guys, Andy Forest Team Runner here and welcome to the Hoka One One MACH 4 speed test and long run test. So welcome back to another video. I'm excited to do a speed and long run test video. I haven't done one in a while, but this shoe certainly deserves it. Out here today on the industrial estate, getting 12 by 500 meters done and then 5 by 200 meters done, all in aid of our sub 240 marathon. We're going to be testing out the Hoka One One MACH 4s for speed today. Then this weekend we have a 2.5 hour long run, which will really put them to their paces. We'll see how it does on that. So before we get to that, we'll do the speed stuff. And once we've done both these workouts, we'll sit down and we'll talk about how the shoe performed. So there we go, speed workout complete in the MACH 4s. Actually not quite complete, I've got 5 by 200 to go now. But on the whole, we got those main intervals done. It was horrible, it was hard, not the shoes, the workout. I'm not a fan of intervals, but we got everything done in goal pace, we got everything done in goal time, whatever you want to call it, and I'm really happy that we at least just got it done, because it was not a pleasant one and I'm so glad it's over with. But that's the interval stuff, that's the speed test. Let's see how they do on feet for 2.5 hours. So welcome to the long run test. I won't keep you because you can't see me, but I can see you. So I'll talk to you a little bit more when we get home. I've swapped things around. We're doing the long run test on Thursday because we have a long run, a medium long run effectively, but it's a Canova workout. There's a good reason why we're doing it today and not Sunday. And I'll explain more why when I get home. I just felt like Sunday we've done enough moderate stuff. We've done enough moderate running in this shoe. There's a big gap in my knowledge, which is marathon pace, which I won't be able to do on Saturday's long run, but I can do today. And I'd rather have a better all-round picture and still do a decent long run, which will be about 15 miles today, than just some more moderate stuff. So although I get a better time on feet on Saturday, today is going to fill a big hole in my knowledge with this shoe. So we'll see how we get on, we'll get the long run done, and at the end we will touch base and go through everything I found out about this shoe. So there we go, speed and long run test complete in the Hoka One One MACH 4. Now before we get into today's video, I just want to quickly explain the purpose of these speed and long run test videos, because we've had a fair few new subscribers since I've last done a speed and long run test video. What I like to do with all my shoes, with testing in particular, is to put them through their paces, test them at a variety of different ranges. So not just give you guys like a first impressions and after 100 miles, but I like to put them through, if applicable, a long run test, a speed run test. And today I'm going to be going through in a little bit more detail the paces I've used this shoe at, where it's shone and where it's maybe not shone so much, and of course answer the question, does it live up to the hype that was built up around this shoe? So that's the purpose of these videos, just to give you guys a bit more of an insight into the way I like to test the shoes, hopefully give you a little bit more value for money when it comes to these reviews, and yeah, explain a little bit more. But of course we have that big question mark of why I swapped the long runs around. We'll explain that when we get to the long run test, but first let's cover the speed test. So on this week's menu we had a good tasty speed session to do, 12 by 500 meters, which is effectively 6 by a K but broken up, and we ended up hitting all the paces as you saw on the workout. However, I'm really not a fan of those type of workouts, those faster interval stuff. I'm really not a fan, and of course I took this shoe out on that workout, and how did I find the shoe? I was a little bit disappointed, if I'm honest with you. I don't think this shoe is geared up for those really speedy interval works. I mean, this shoe is a lightweight, beautiful fitting shoe, but it hasn't quite got that pop when it comes to what you need for interval workouts. It actually felt rather flat, if I'm honest with you, when trying to go at those paces. And just so you're aware, in terms of the paces I was trying to go in and around 110% of my marathon goal pace. If you don't know what that means, make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out the training series, because I kind of go through all of that and the paces and what we're doing each week, every weekend when I release the weekly training video. But for those of you who watch that video, you'll know what I mean when I say 110%. So my goal marathon pace is around 6 minutes per mile, 6 to 6:10 I should say. So these repetition paces are between 5:20 and 5:30 per mile, and it really, as I said, didn't lend itself too well, and I can't work out what it is. Profly midsole for me is I've said it before, it's a great midsole. I enjoy it in the Rocket X, I've enjoyed it in the Carbon X, and I'm just not sure if it's this EVA rubber outsole that deadens it a little bit. It's still very lovely, soft and cushioned, but it does lack a little bit of pop, the pop that I thought this shoe would have, that I don't find this shoe has, if that makes sense. The Profly section in this shoe, I can feel it, I can notice it, it feels very similar, but I'm just wondering if it's this EVA rubber outsole which just nullifies it a little bit and kind of takes away that edge of what it could have if this was maybe a little bit of a thinner EVA. I mean, I know it's to increase durability, don't get me wrong, I'm not stupid, but I'm wondering if there was a little bit less of it, if we would have a little bit more joy with the shoe. So in terms of running at that sort of pace, I didn't really find that this was its sweet spot. So moving on to the long run test, and let me just explain the switch up before I give you my feedback on how the shoe went. I wanted to switch things up because I realised that my 2.5 hour long run on the weekend was going to be done at and around the same pace that I've already tested the shoe at, 6:40 per mile, my moderate pace. I've already given you feedback on that in the first impressions video, and that was simply a case of it felt good without being spectacular. And I thought, well, what value am I going to bring you guys if I come back and say, well, I ran it for 2.5 hours at that same pace. It was good without being spectacular. When I realised there was a big gaping hole in the pace range of this shoe that I haven't yet tested, which is the pace that I said I think this shoe will shine at, marathon pace. And I had a marathon pace session to do on Thursday, aka yesterday. So I thought to myself, why not test this thing out, see how we get on, get the marathon pace work done whilst banking 15 miles, which we didn't quite do sadly, we had to cut it a bit short, but whilst banking decent mileage and give you better feedback. And I'm so glad that I did, because I found the place where this thing shines. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not an Endorphin Pro, it's not an Endorphin Speed, it's not a Hyperion Tempo, but I have to say my goal paces for those repetitions were between 6 and 6:10 in the 3x7k workout, with the float, 1k float in the middle, and we hit all the paces in horrific conditions, and it flowed really nicely. I do stand by the fact that this thing lacks pop. I'm not 100% sure what it is. As I said earlier, I don't know if it's this EVA rubber outsole that just nullifies the Profly bit. I don't know what it is, but that gliding sensation that you get from a Hoka shoe with the early stage Meta Rocker back here really came to life at that point. And the paces felt good, they felt really strong, I felt smooth today. And that's all credit to this shoe. That is where I found the sweet spot. So it's kind of like, I tested the moderate and easy stuff, it was just a little bit too slow, bit flat, bit dead. Tested the really fast end of the spectrum, didn't quite have that oomph to get me going. It really did feel like, although it was a great lightweight shoe, didn't give me what I needed. I didn't get a lot of feedback from the shoe when I was out there. I was having to do quite a lot of work. Within the marathon pace stuff, it kind of like, it literally just leveled out and went, yes, this is where I need to run. So I'm really grateful that I did swap things around. I'm really happy I did. It allowed me to find out this thing's sweet spot. So overall conclusions, does this shoe live up to the hype, and any more further testing going to be taking place? Well, good news is I am still going to be using this on the weekend's long run. I will give you an update on how that went. If you do subscribe to the channel, at the training vlog at the end of this week, I'll give you a quick bit of feedback on how I found the shoe over 2.5 hours, and that will take us up and over the 50-mile mark in the shoe already. I just felt like for value for money, you're going to learn more if I test a wider variety of pace ranges. So it will get the long run test, the proper long run test, but for this video, it was great to be able to put it through a good spectrum of the paces. Overall thoughts, a really great shoe from Hoka, exactly the direction that I want to see them going in. Does it live up to the hype? Not quite sure it lives up to the hype that I was hoping for. A little bit disappointed with the lack of pop in the shoe, but on the whole, it's a beautiful lightweight fitting trainer that's going to do great for those marathon pace sessions, for me anyway, and it's going to slot in nicely and share some of those miles now with the Hyperion Tempo for the remainder of this marathon training block. So is it definitely worth getting? 100%. It's a shoe worth adding to the rotation, in my opinion. It's definitely wider than some other Hokas, and it is an enjoyable shoe, but just bear in mind, I was led to believe, I wasn't led to believe, but from reading and watching some early reviews on this shoe, I was really super hyped. And maybe that's kind of what the problem was. I was so hyped for the shoe and it didn't quite live up to what I built it up to in my head. But overall, really happy with it, grateful for it to be in my rotation, 100% worth the money and definitely worth looking at getting if you can. Those are my thoughts on the Hoka One One Mach 4 after all of my testing. Stay tuned, subscribe. Check out this weekend's weekly vlog. I'll give you an update on how it goes over the 2.5 hour mark. And yeah, let me know your thoughts in the below with the Hoka One One. Oh, I can't even speak. It's tired, I'm late, it's crazy, I'm late, it's late, I'm tired. See, I can't even get my words out. Let me know in the comments below how you found the shoe, what your thoughts are, and let's get that conversation going. If you enjoyed today's video, guys, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Until then.